And I will tell you, your presence here this morning means a great deal. No candidate can win without support. You can have all the elected officials in the world. Okay? You can have all the elected officials. You can have all the money in the world. But if we don't have you, it just does not work. You just can't get there. And let me tell you what's so important. There's a lady in this room this morning who came up to me. She wasn't talking, David, about the major infrastructure. She wasn't talking about police safety and all of that, or the finances of the city. The only thing she asked of me, she just said, Mr. Turner, you know, I'm a senior, and I've got some trees that are falling on my roof. That's the only thing I'm asking from you. You know, I just need some help on that. Well, I heard you, and we're not going to even wait till I become mayor in January. We're going to work on that right now. That's what's important to her. That's what makes the difference to her. That's what caused her to get up this morning and come for the breakfast. And to the extent we can solve that problem, then her life is a little bit better. And we don't have to wait until January till we can become mayor to make that happen. There was another lady on last night when I was out in Sunnyside. I'm looking right at her, you know, and she had concern just about her home. You know, a home that needs to be repaired, seriously repaired, another senior citizen. That's what she's concerned about. There are a lot of homes in this city from Hurricane Ike that still have those blue tops on their homes. They still got blue tops on their homes. These people need some help, and they want their lives to be better. But we need to address those concerns. There are a lot of people in our city, they are working, but they're the working poor. Even though there are a lot of cranes, growth and development that's taking place, and we want that growth and development to take place within our city, 24% of the folk in this city are still working poor. They go to work every day, but they're still having a hard time making ends meet. And they want better jobs. And we need to work on providing them with better jobs. There are a lot of folk out here who, especially people who are unemployed, or they're young and they don't have jobs. We need to find a way to put them to work and to provide them with the training that they need. We rolled out a program this week, Road to the Future. We know the streets are bad. I don't have to tell you, you hit a pothole. On average, people pay about $1,900 a year just to get their cars repaired because they've driven over a pothole. So the roads are bad. Well, you don't want a whole lot of rhetoric on that. You just want them fixed. You just want them fixed. So we laid out a program where we were looking at setting up a road maintenance repair system 24 hours a day. Where do you get the labor from? Taking people who are unemployed, or taking people who are untrained, providing some courses for example, at Lone Star Community College or Houston Community College, where they are trained in road repair. A lot of folk are not going to go and get a 4-year education. A lot of folk are not going to college. But at the same time, for those who are looking for ability to be able to take care of their families, they need to just be trained. We're setting up some programs using the Texas Department of Transportation, where they've got money for training programs. They've given $2 million to Dallas just to set up training programs, just like what we're talking about today. And then you get with the private sector, where you're matching these people once they are trained with people, with contractors, and they are out there repairing and maintaining our roads on a 24-hour basis. You achieve two things. You get the roads fixed, quick, fast, and in a hurry. You provide them with skills. You train them, and now they can take care of their families. And hopefully they will then go and then do even greater things. But you got to take care of that. There are a lot of people who are coming back to our cities who have been incarcerated. Okay? They're coming back to Houston, Harris County. This is where they came from. They're coming back. We talk about second chances. Reverend Coleman spoke about that. Do you know in this budget, in the budget that we just passed in the legislature, I'm vice chair of the legislature, what I wanted to do was to create like a pilot program for people who have been Pastor Nash, have been in prison, they're coming back. They face two major things, employment and housing. And the city has limited dollars for what we call a reentry program, where people are coming back out, and there are 13 to 14,000 that come back to the Houston, Harris County area every single year. And they're coming back in areas that are already burdened. They're coming back to Sunnyside, South Park, Acres Home, Fifth Ward, you name it, East End. They're already burdened, but the city doesn't have enough money. In this appropriation bill that we just passed, the governor just signed, I provided funding, $1 million for the city of Houston, $1 million for Dallas, for reentry. And all that it is intended to do was provide, because you can't ask the faith-based community and other nonprofits to handle these programs if they don't have funding. So it's just a grant coming to the city of Houston for the mayor then to work with faith-based nonprofits and others for them to provide the assistance to these programs out in the community to help people with their housing and employment. I just didn't want it to get here until I become mayor. But it's meeting the needs where people are. We got infrastructure needs, we know that. We have to address that. The city will face some financial challenges over the next 3 years. We need to deal with that. I've been in the legislature for 26 years. 21 of my 26 years have been spent on the Appropriations Committee. It's just what I do. It's just what I do. I would love the opportunity to do it with the city of Houston. We have people, we need affordable housing. We got to make sure that we don't close and consolidate our schools. Because we're closing and consolidating our schools here in Jackson now, but people need affordable housing. And we need to work on that. And we need to make that possible. These are things that we've been working on for many, many years. It's an opportunity to do things now on a local level. I'm not leaving Austin because I don't love it anymore. I'm not leaving because I'm ineffective. But I was born and reared in this city. I was born, reared, and still live in the same neighborhood in which I was born and reared. And many of you know I was born and reared in Acres Home. Graduated from the University of Houston, went off to law school, and I returned back to Acres Home. Now, I've done well. I'm not going to say I've done well. I've done well. But one of the reasons why I returned back to Acres Home is because when I was growing up, like many of you, the teachers and the principal and the business folk all lived in the same neighborhood. And I was able to look up and see them every day. I didn't quite know what they were doing, but I knew they were doing okay. And I was inspired by that. Well, now it's my turn. A lot of those folks who inspired me are no longer here. They passed on. And the reason why I'm so passionate about seniors is because, Reverend Allen, when I was going to the University of Houston, and I would go to New Bethel Missionary Baptist Church, Pastor Dr. W.H. Dudley was the pastor, off of Cross Timbers and Snyder, in Northeast Houston. There was a senior citizen by the name of Evelina Moulton. I just call her Sister Mrs. Moulton. And every Sunday, when I would go to church, at the end of the church service, Sister Muldrew would be standing right at that back door, waiting for me. And as I was getting ready to come out, Sister Muldrew would come up to me, she would hug me, and she would have this crumpled up $5 bill. And you know how seniors can just fold it up? She had it all folded up. And she would hug me, and she would grab my hand, and she would place that crumpled up $5 bill in my hand. And what she would say to me, she would say, "Little brother Turner, Evelina doesn't have a whole lot, but Evelina believes in you. And I'm giving this to you And now I want you to go and do well, young man. Every time I went to church, she would give me a $5 bill. It couldn't pay for a book. It couldn't pay for the shirt on my back. But it represented all that she had, that she was willing to share with me. Because of her $5 bill, I've been running on that a long time. I've been running on that a long time. People want their streets fixed. People want better parks in their communities. People want better grocery stores in their neighborhoods. People want more affordable housing. They want jobs. They want skills. They want their city managed. But more than anything, I believe, is that people are looking for elected officials who will do what they say, and they'll do it for the right reason, and they'll remember the folk who have put them in office. If we do that, we will. If we do that, we will. Lastly, and I'll say this. I said last night, Cynthia, when we met with the Civic Group, I know I'm not President Barack Obama. I know I'm not. I'm not President Barack Obama. And the reason I'm saying that, in 2008, people wrapped around the polls to get him in. Literally wrapped around the polls. In 2012, when he ran the second time, people wrapped around the polls. But when he was not on the ballot, in 2010, people stayed at home. People did not vote. Let me tell you, you may never get close enough to President Barack Obama. You may never get an opportunity to shake his hand or to hug him. You may not get an opportunity to put your concerns on a piece of paper and hand them to him so he can put it in his pocket and work on it. You won't get a chance many ways to get that close enough to him. But let me tell you, if you elect me as the mayor of this city, you'll get a chance to talk to me one-on-one. You get a chance to put a piece of paper in my hand to fix your street. You get a chance to say to me there's too much trash being dumped in my neighborhood. You get a chance to say that I'm unemployed and I need a job. You get a chance to say to me, don't ignore my community year after year, day after day. I need some help. You get a chance to talk face to face with me. And even if I do something you do not agree with, you'll get a chance to pull my coat to him and say, Brother Turner, I think you're moving in the wrong direction. You need to get back on the straight street. Sandra Hines is here. And Sandra has been fighting for seniors year after year after year after year. What we do is one thing. We just want to work with you. For folk who have already been out there on the firing line, I want to work with you. I want to work with Sandra. She's already doing this stuff. She don't need me to come in and try to substitute what she's doing. She just needs me to partner with her. Pastor Nash, the stuff that you all are doing in St. Paul, you don't need me to come in and tell you you're doing it wrong. You just need me to partner with you. Folks in this community, you're not dumb. We're not stupid. It's not that we don't care, we do care. You just need the city partnering with you. And if you give me an opportunity to be your man, if you just give me an opportunity, I believe we can do some transformative things in this city. I believe that to be true. And lastly, and then I'll talk about the valley. Lastly, I'll say this. It's not, some people say, Sylvester, it's your turn. It's not my time. Understand what I'm saying? Nothing happens on its own. own. Nothing happens on its own. If we don't work for it, it won't happen. So don't assume anything. And don't think this race is not going to be competitive. It's going to be competitive. Don't think it's not going to be hard-hitting. It's going to be hard-hitting. And don't think people won't say or do anything in order to try to win. Been there, experienced that. Okay? But one thing I know, if you believe that in me I carry your concerns, it's not just me on the ballot. It's your children. It's your families. It's your future. Job opportunities. We are all on this battle. This is a battle for the future and the heart of this city. There's no city more diverse than this city. Can we all come to the table? I think we can. Can we all have different points of view, but still work together? I believe we can. Can Democrats and Republicans sit at the table at City Hall? I believe we can. Doesn't matter who you look like. Doesn't matter that. The point is, at the end of the day, whether you're from the north, south, east, west, or central, we are all proud Houstonians. And it's about time we start out there. Thank you very much. Come on. Give it up and stay let me give a Judon Boney running for city controller. Judon, thank you for being here. Now, questions from you. I don't want us to do all the talking. Questions, concerns, things that I need to know, things you want me to know. This is Wake Up City Hall, but it's not just about you coming and having breakfast and listening to us talk. Okay? So, concerns. Yes, ma'am.
My name is and I was raised in Sunnyside all my life. And in the 70s, I entered the vocational office education program, which I did very well in, and I received a lot of professional jobs. But once I got up to the point of working like 14 years on a job, and they realized that I was a minority out of the vocational office education, they did a restructure. And my job was the first one to be kicked out the door. Okay, ever since then, I've been on other jobs doing the same thing that I was taught in vocational office education. I worked for Six Flags World for 9 years. Every time a manager was quit or left the department, I was the interim manager. I filed for equal employment opportunity because I could never get the title because I did not have the accolade. But yet I received a certificate for vocational office education. And when I filed in 2005 of September, November of 2005, Six Flags closed their doors. And after that, I've been getting like all the mediocre jobs, like working at Macy's, working at Kroger, working at Kohl's. Every job that I got, I worked with the type of training that I received in vocational office education. And when those people realized that I had more knowledge on job experience as a manager, I was kicked out. Every job that I've been on since I left Six Flags World, they've only let me work on their job for 7 months before they kicked me out the door. Now, with Obamacare, I am uncovered. I do not receive any type of unemployment from when I got fired. I'm receiving no money, and I'm not receiving money until after August when I turn 62 and I'm able to retire. So there's a problem. Now, in the beginning, when I know vocational office education was an experiment with the government and the school system, then when you have a person like me who learned from the system and who's able to go out there and do a job that most people who have an education can't even do, there's a problem. And if you want to talk about a mad, angry black woman, I'm one of them.
Well, I don't want you to be mad. And I don't want want you to be angry. And God knows I don't want you to be mad and angry at me. But I do know that you speak for a number of people in our community who simply are looking for work, sustainable, long-lasting work, and they're met with rejections. One thing that I've learned in my 60 years of living, and that is life is not fair. Now, I've learned that life is not fair. And in school, we learn 2 plus 2 equal 4. In life, we learn not necessarily the case. And I know it's not an answer to say, just keep going and keep working and don't give up when you're going through a real-time situation like you're going through. It's very personal and it affects you in a very direct way. I will say to you, the leadership of this city is important because the leadership sets the tone. This is the most diverse city in the country. City of Houston is more diverse than New York City. But diversity in and of itself doesn't mean that everything is okay. We have to get to the point where the diversity is warm and welcoming, and that the doors of opportunity are open to everyone. If given the opportunity to be mayor, I want the city's workforce to reflect that diversity, the diversity of this city. And contracting opportunities to reflect the diversity of this city. And certainly will speak to, as mayor, to the unfairness that many people are suffering right here in this city. Because we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But I think this race is an opportunity to move us all collectively forward. Today in this room, for example, there are African Americans, there are Hispanics, there are Jews, all in this room right now. And so we have to speak to the diversity and to the fact that people deserve an opportunity and that people are still being denied either based on their sex, their gender, their ethnicity, all of those things. It was reassuring on yesterday, for example, for the Confederate flag to finally come down. That was reassuring. But bear in mind, this is 2015. Okay, that flag had been flown there for a long time. And it finally has come down. That's a symbol, but you can take down the flag. But until you remove the prejudices and the biases that people hover within their minds and their hearts, we still have a lot of work to do. So I know that doesn't give you a direct answer, but what I simply will say to you, this is my 3rd time running for mayor. I don't say it in a negative sense. And I could go back and reflect on what happened the first time around, what happened. But that's not gonna do anything for the future. It's just not. But what I have learned in living, and I learned this not from Harvard, not from the University of Houston, not from Klein. I just learned it from my dad. And maybe this will help you. When my dad was diagnosed with cancer, I was 13 years old. Now really, I was 11. We didn't have Blue Cross Blue Shield. We had no private health insurance. None. My dad was a yard man and a painter. And so what he decided to do is that instead of trying to go into somebody's, like Ben Thomas, radiation and all of that, he knew he had 9 kids that he needed to feed. And so my dad made a conscious decision that he was going to work, continue to cut people's grass until the Lord called him home. And so what he did is that he sent my older brothers and sisters down to the pharmacy, the local pharmacy, to get pain medicine. And my dad simply took the pain medicine to numb the pain while he continued to work. While we were out cutting people's grass, I would see my dad fall down. But I would see my dad pull himself up. Around the house, neighbor's home, my dad would fall down. My dad would get a hold of a piece of furniture and pull himself right back up. I learned from my dad in his living and in his dying that in life you may get knocked down. Yes. But in life you have to learn to pull yourself right back up. And so what I would say to you, I don't care how many times life knocks us down. We have to learn and find the inner strength and peace to pull ourselves back up until such time as we get it back on.
Well, one thing I'm going to say this. I don't let anything knock me down because I am a Houstonian and I understand the segregation to the end first. Now, my estate sent on Twitter the other day. She put out this some guy that's running for mayor. I don't even know his name, but she put it to Sylvester. She said this guy has earned in his donations $1 billion. And she said, well, how much did Sylvester Turner earn? So I retweeted back to her and I said, Sylvester Turner has earned, he has raised the conscience of Houstonians, and that is priceless. That is not my foundation.
And I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I appreciate you. Now, my good friend, Representative Al Evans, is in the House, serving some 30 plus years. Al, just stand up and just wave, man, you look good. Al Evans, you all, the father of Juneteenth. Thank you, Al, good to see you. And Amanda Evans is here. Where's that? Running for City Council in Large 4. Amanda Evans. Another question or comment? I was there. Question, comment, anyone? Yes, sir.
Thank you, I'm a workforce development professional here in town. I know you're a champion of youth, workforce, and so forth. The biggest problem we have in our community is the rising crime and the growing chasm between sustainable employment and low-level employment.
Right.
The biggest problem that we have is that we've got jobs, we have opportunities for our young people have never been more down, but we don't have the systems in place or the systemic avenues to get these people. Not the training part is easy, but we don't have the development, the feedback, coaching those people to get them in position. Getting a job is not that difficult these days, but the challenges of the changing workforce, we need to have the professionals and the people in place to get their mindset and vision to maintain those jobs. I work with thousands of small employers, business people throughout the community. We have done so for the last couple of decades. There are employers that will not hire young people, particularly young men of color, because they don't feel like that they have the proper mentality to maintain those positions. And I implore for it. We've got to give the professionals in place to provide job development and job coaching. It's not only about the training and the jobs, but it's getting those people prepared to stay in those jobs and keep those jobs. I implore for you to work to get people in positions, in our city positions, and in some of our state, local, other local positions, get the proper people that have the expertise to get our young people there.
What's your name?
I'm Will Smith, just like the other.
Okay. Well, let me just say, Mr. Smith, I appreciate your comments. I would love for you to join me in this effort.
I am.
But I'm talking about more specifically, like with the Road to the Future program, because I agree with you, it's not just about training, it is about life skills. That's an important component, and that's a part of the Road to the Future program, but it's missing you. So I would love you to join with my policy team in working to more fully develop that aspect of the program. And Will is absolutely correct, it's a mindset too. You know, you can provide opportunities, but people have to understand it's a mindset. Because when you go to work, you're working for somebody. And there are some people who are not necessarily used to authority or working under someone. And if you're not used to authority and working under someone, then somebody tell you to go do this, and you decide, no, I'm not going to do this, or you respond in the wrong way, up and you're out of here. Now, you know, I've been a small business owner for the last 32 years. My firm is downtown, we've been downtown for 32 years, and the title business for 18 years. And even with some of my employees sometimes, you know, you can kind of run into a problem. Because, you know, I am the boss now. You work for me? I mean, No, I understand that. I'm not talking about following the wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about following actions or doing. No. I'm talking about in general. I'm not talking about specifically. Because wrong is wrong. I don't care who's doing it. So I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about working for people and understanding that when you're working for people, there's a certain protocol and a certain discipline that you have to bring to the table if you want to keep your job. That's what I'm referring to. Okay, otherwise, bear in mind, people can let you go. And so I think it's important that we provide the life skills along with the training and the opportunities for workforce development so people can segue from one skill to a higher skill. And that's where you get